Have you ever taught a class and been met with silence? Have you ever asked your students a question and got a no response? So often the classroom can seem unengaging, silent and dead. Moment 3 is about bringing the learning to life and rethinking what engagement looks like in the classroom. Here are 3 principles you can use as a teacher to move towards a lively, more engaged classroom we all want. First, get to know your students. It's so easy to get caught up in focusing on the lesson plan, the curriculum, and delivering the content that sometimes it feels like staff aren't looking at us, their students. Learning to look up from the curriculum and look at your students actually helps you get a sense of where they're at and what they're looking for, which allows you to give them a response. We know it can be confronting, but making the effort to figure out who's in the room and where we're at allows you to adapt your teaching style to individual students in the room and design strategies that respond to them. Don't forget, the job of getting to know your students isn't just a one-off. You'll learn more about them as you teach them. Second, show, don't tell. I think it's so easy for the classroom to become a place where we as students primarily receive information from our tutors. As a psych student, I had a teacher who did something different while teaching us the concept of classical conditioning. Instead of just writing the definition of this term on the board and asking us to copy it down, he took a more creative approach and brought with him a spray bottle, filled it up with water and sprayed a student's face with water each time he'd say a certain word. Eventually, he'd stop spraying the student's face with water, yet the student would still flinch. While the tutor could have just put up the definition onto a slide, he went a step further and actually took us through a process of discovering what classical conditioning was through a practical demonstration, and it was the most memorable experience in my entire degree. What can we learn from this? When teachers think of more creative ways to involve students in the process of discovery, the learning is far more impactful. Finally, the questions are more important than the answers. Often, the classroom can feel like a place where putting your hand up to ask a question is seen as a sign of lacking knowledge amongst our peers, and I think it's because we're only ever rewarded for having the right answer. We're in an age now where all the information in the world is accessible to us through AI and search engines, and so we have the answers. But you know, what really allows us to learn is the questions we ask. I think it's important to create an environment that fuels your students' curiosity and inquiry. Asking questions is how we learn. It shows that we are taking what we're taught and thinking of it, acknowledging what we don't know, forming our own opinions about it, and gaining new understanding. So whether it's getting students to ask each other questions or going around to their tables and engaging in discussion, help your students see that learning in the classroom is a process of discovery. I think bringing the learning to life is about seeing the classroom as more than just a place where information is disseminated to students. It's a chance to get to know your students and experiment with your teaching practice on a weekly basis. This is not only better for our students, I think it gives you as educators an opportunity to remember what makes teaching truly exciting.